Well, howdy diddly dandy there, people in the viewerverse. To say, Captain of the Steves, you may have seen my gnarly cape trick there. It's quite easy to do on your actual freighter. If you're in your entrance here, if you just do a little run and then jump and headbutt the ceiling, boom! Look at that! Ha! Real cape physics! Ha! Awesome. So yeah, that's my latest little party trick. Yeah, is my head back to front? No, it's my gnarly cape. There you go, people. Don't say I don't teach you anything. Well, how do everyone? Welcome. So yeah, Meogi is here to actually interview me. Oh, and we've got Matthias Bastos das Castos. Oh, yeah, I can't pronounce your name, mate. I'm just going to call you Matthew. He said, who is Meogi? There's a good question. Where is Meogi is a better question. Well, he's run into a little bit of a problem. So he contacted me at around about 5:30 and said, "Captain Steve, I'm not going to be able to make it for 6. Can you put it to 6:15?" So I did. I put it to 6:15. And then he contacted me again at fairly close to that time and said, "Captain Steve, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it for the 6:15. Could you put it for 7 of the PMs?" So I said, "Yeah, Meogi, what's going on? What's going on, my friend?" You know those phone calls you get from time to time? And they're like, "Hello there, sir. Yes, we've got some Ugandan dollars and we want to put them into your bank account." Yeah, he got one of those phone calls, people. And he only just went and gave him his frickin' bank account details. He's been spending time in the police station getting himself a crime reference number. I shouldn't laugh, but they're getting better at this sort of stuff, aren't they? But anyway, he did just contact me on the telephone, and he's in a car on the way home right now, and he should be dialing in using the PlayStation app any moment, and asking questions. But I figured, I'm going to go live because I've already detracted like twice. So I figured maybe you guys could ask me some questions, and I can answer the questions from you guys until Meogi gets here. So yeah, if you've got any questions for the old captain, if you want to, any questions, any sign of Jason Plays or Survival Bob lately? Just wondering, you three guys are the best. Oh, and Beeble. Well, Corvax, Cal, I think they're doing their speed runs. I'm fairly sure I've seen Zane saying, "Yeah, you're not going to beat me." So Zane, Beeble, Survival Bob, and Jason, they usually do speed runs of the expedition. I'd imagine that's still going on. But to be honest, I usually watch a couple. The first couple are usually really good, where the times are freaking miles apart from each other. But then when they're shaving a couple of seconds off, I tend to try and watch those, but I probably watch, 1 out of the 4. Like, oh, Zane's live, I'll watch him for a bit, and see how it's getting on. And then right near the end, when the expedition's coming to a close, I like to watch all 4 of them then, just to see how it's going. Like when you're watching Formula 1, the first lap's great because you get a load of crashes and there's all sorts of weird stuff going on where they're jostling for position. And then the last lap, and then everything else that's in the middle is kind of a little bit cannon foddery. Yeah, it's kind of that. Yeah, anyway, let's head on over this way. For me, anyway, that's how I regard sort of speed runs and things. But yeah, if Meogi makes it here in person, we could go sit in my man cave. I'm going to chat up my little NPC guys. Hello, have you got any questions for me? What the? Oh, okay. Normally you can talk to these guys, but here's one of my wingmen. That's pretty cool. It comes up with their stats page. I've not seen that before. I'm going to talk to more. Hello there, Neil.
Jimmy's back.
Yes, he's here.
I made it.
Hello, Meogi. Yeah, I just told them what's been going on in your day. Do you want to fill them in?
Oh, yes. Yes, well, unfortunately, don't trust, ladies and gentlemen. Please don't trust Nigerian-speaking people. Don't. I'm being racist. Well, it sounds like I'm being. Be sure to it's not a withheld number, and that basically you can check the number before you get them. But I've been scammed by somebody pretending to be Virgin Media.
Oh no!
So that's why. So yes. Oh yes, I've been scammed. So.
Oh dear.
So yes, but it's not the end of the world. It's I've had the other thing was my cat decided to poo up my curtains and claw my curtains down today.
So Meogi's cat sadly passed away the other day, and he's got a new cat called Buddy who's just settling in, and yeah, he had a bit of a fun night to say the least, isn't it?
Yeah, there was. He pulled the curtains, abseiled up the curtains, pulled them down, pooed on them and weed on them.
It's probably just marking its territory. That's his way of saying hello, Meogi.
Yeah, it's probably is, to be honest with you, Steve. So.
You got him a nice little cat cage, right?
I've got a nice little cat gate. I've just got him a cat tunnel today
Right.
and some milk and some bits and pieces.
Just to make him feel at home, wait till he falls asleep.
Yeah.
Do the freaking same to
Yeah.
his cat cage. There you go. Welcome.
Put on his cat cage. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Right, I'm homing in on your freighter at the moment, Steve. So.
Okay, cool. All right. I'm just getting some nanites out of my refiners.
Okay.
I've lost track of
So
which
how
refiner.
many people? We're going to watch your stream in a minute. As I say, I'm not with the
There's
stream on
30
this.
here at the moment, and there's
All
another
right.
person who's
welcome.
sadly lost their cat as well. Atlas Galacticus. Very sad
Oh
to hear
dear,
your news.
sorry Atlas, Galactus, I do feel for you. How long did you have for Atlas?
Well, he's saying it was his mum's cat and it's got bone cancer. They tried everything they could to save their cat, but no, the bone cancer won. I lost my dart frog today, people. I came down to
Yeah,
find
I
he
know.
was dead. Swell.
Yeah.
I tried to revive him, gave him a little tappity tap on the heart. Go,
Little kiss of life.
Clear.
Little kiss of life, so...
Wasn't coming
Right,
back.
just opening on your stream so I can watch the thing. So we're going to interview Captain Steve. I will do the best job, and hopefully, have you told the audience we're going to be doing content creators on a regular basis?
Yeah, if anybody hits us up, I mean, we've got Discords and things, so yeah, if you want to hit us on there or whatever and let us know that you want to come join us. Because at least if we use Discord chat, we can use party chat on PlayStation if you're on PlayStation, but if not, I've got Discord, so I could do it that way. Okay, all right, I'm on my actual deck area of my freighter now.
Area, right.
Yes.
I will come for doing the interviews. I'm here. I'm honoured to see the captains of the Steves freighter buildy thing. Hello, captain of the Steves. I'm right next to you.
Oh yeah, I see you. Hello. Cool.
I've told you this. I've got my fancy cloak on, but nobody can see it, to be honest with you, so...
I was doing fancy cloak tricks at the start of this
yeah,
episode.
yeah.
You can't see my cloak either,
Yes,
can you?
Sassy Ball, hi, Copper Belly Bob. Welcome to the stream, so let's have a look, right. So anyway, let's get on with the interviews, if that's okay. We've got more news.
I'm ready for your first question then, Meogi. Fire.
Right, the first question, and please, anybody in the actual chats, can they fire over the questions that they want to post to Captain Steve? One at a time, please, if we can, because I'm struggling on my phone here. So the first question is, the question you asked me was, what got you into No Man's Sky?
Well, I first saw the E3 trailers, and as soon as I saw those big, lovely frickin' Diplos and the alien worlds, and it was sort of suggested at E3 that every planet would be as majestical and as awesome as that one, and that one was just found at random, I was like, take my frickin' money. Yeah, I pre-ordered it. Yeah, pre-ordered it.
I did as well, actually, Steve. I got the Alpha, the green single-wing freighter ship.
Yeah.
Did you get a pre-order goodie?
I did, but now that I've moved over to PlayStation 5, you don't get the redeem code button, so I've lost it. It's not there anymore. Yeah.
Well, this is a bit snazzy, this freighter, so...
Well, thank you.
So that's what you got you in the E3 trailer. So were you disappointed with the game once you saw it?
No, not at first, because, you know, I still figured that planet was out there somewhere for me to find, and those Diplos were on a planet, and I was just unlucky, you know?
Yeah.
So I thought, well, it's a procedurally generated universe, so it's got to be there somewhere, and planets like it. And I thought, maybe they just stick you on a shite planet to start out with, just so you get your bearings, you know?
Yeah.
And I kept exploring and exploring and exploring, and I reached the centre, and I completed the game, and I saw no freaking Diplos. I was like, what the fudge? Yeah.
You have a thing for your Charles Avelius and your Diplos, your E3 Diplo. By the way, Dark Lord Zelric looks like he's cracked the E3 Diplo, so it looks even more better than the one that I did.
Yeah, but doesn't it just appear on the wingman's computer area?
I think it does, yes.
Yeah, I think it just flies around in space shooting bad guys, which is a bit weird.
Oh dear, well that's no good. So how long did it take you to do this freighter, Captain?
This is my normal mode freighter. This is not that long, to be fair. I might rebuild this at some stage. I've seen some people do some gnarly stuff with like multi-tiers. I went round rods the other day and got very jealous. So yeah, I might have to redo mine. But to be honest, it serves its needs. It's all right. You got a little farm over this way.
We've got a question in from one of the audience members, somebody called Kovacs Cal. Says, Steve, are you a full-time content creator?
No.
I don't believe you are.
No, I'm not. No, I've still got a day job. Still got a day job. Still got a missus as well, and you know, missuses are full time, really, aren't they? As well. So it's one of those. I just fit it in as I can fit it in. I play for an hour before work, then I edit it on my lunch break, and hopefully put something out on my lunch break. Yeah. So yeah, I spend about 2 hours a day, and in that 2 hours, I usually make 2 videos.
Yeah. Do you have a? I was going to ask the question because you do some awesome content creation, and you really get some. You really empathise with your audience. You're always engaging with everybody, and you've got 20,000 subscribers, over 20,000, which I do congratulate you on. How do you cram everything in to do your videos, your content creation, engage with your audience, and have a real life as well? I couldn't do it.
No, it is tricky. I mean, usually when I'm working, like doing my day job, I work from home, so it's not far to go, you know, to get to my other computer. It's there. There's my PlayStation. There's my work computer there. It's all in my man cave. But while I'm working, I will write down notes. If I've got a quick idea, I'm like, oh, I need to make a video on that. I write it down because I'm very forgetful. But then I end up with a list of videos to make, and then I'll just put numbers down the side, which order to do them in. And sometimes I can see, well, that video will go nicely with that video. And if I do that one as 3 minutes, it could be a premiere to that video, you know, and I work it all out on a notepad, and I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing. So as soon as I jump in game, I'm not going, oh, what should I do for a video, you know? So that's how I first started off, is like just winging it. Now I've got a notepad. I'm professional now. Professional.
Good. I've got a question from Wilfred Soto Jr. Captain Steve, why did you start YouTube? Which I was going to ask you. And what's the dream? Or was it a dream, or was it just for fun?
Years and years ago, me and my friend Pi, he's called Pi because his name's Peter, but it's spelled a Dutch way, so it's got an I there. We started off making like a conspiracy theory website called the Axiom Gate. We had a radio talk show. We used to be on Disclosure TV, which was a TV channel. Back then, conspiracy theories were fine because, you know, everybody was allowed to think for themselves back then. And you're like, oh, well, that's BS. That's a conspiracy. You know, people could discern truth from fiction, but now it's getting harder because the mainstream media is so shite anyway, and they make their own conspiracy theories up. That, you know, you've got to listen to them ones, not the ones that people make up or whatever, or enjoy doing. So yeah, anyway, we had this conspiracy theory website, and to go with it, we made a YouTube channel. This was years ago. We're talking like about 12 years ago, before it was even taken over by Google, and we had loads of stuff up on UFOs, ghosts. It wasn't the run-of-the-mill conspiracies either. We used to do a thing where we used to get the BBC, Al Jazeera, Fox, CNN, and we used to look at all the news stories, and then we'd be like, okay, so what's the same across all these news stories? And we'd marry it up and say, right, well, that's your truth, and this is your political spin. And this is why there's political spin there. So it wasn't really conspiracy theories per se. It was news analytics. But then as soon as Google took over YouTube, they muted every single one of our videos because we had been using news sources as clips, and copyright striked us to frickin' hell and back, and we got shut down. So yeah, even though it wasn't monetized,
Yeah, so Steve, I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. What made you do the meaning of life video yesterday, other than being prompted by a certain person that's not a few feet away from you?
Well, when I was like 12, 13, I drowned in a swimming pool, and I had like a near-death experience, the whole out-of-body shenanigans. But it wasn't like tunnel of light and seeing a guy in a chair with a beard reading out everything that I'd done right or wrong, or a Christmas list or whatever he has. I was pulled up into like space and became like this 360 eye thing, being able to see and observe life experiences, a little bit like on No Man's Sky. You know, when you go down to a planet, you pick your planet. It was like that, but then when you picked one of those dots, it would zoom in, it'd be a person's experience, but it was linked to a color and a vibration. You know, like how we've got sight, sound, smell and touch and all that. Well, I had a different set of sort of feelings that I can't even freaking put into words. I mean, how do you describe the taste of something or the smell of something to somebody that's got no smell or taste? So yeah,
it's like this, Captain Steve. We're all human beings, individual in our own individual way. We taste things differently. We look at things differently. We each of us have got a different perspective on things. We can never understand another human being if somebody turns around and says that they understand somebody. Oh, I understand that. I know what you're going through. No, you don't. You never will do, because you're living
different
an
person,
individual
different
life.
individual.
You're a different individual. And as Dr. Carl Sagan said, we're all from star stuff. You know, it's amazing how many supernovas have had to happen for us to get silver, gold, beryllium. There's just for those people who know, I prompted Captain Steve because me and him think very much alike about cosmology, about science, about trying to understand the universe and where we are now and where we're going to be. And you know, we're deep thinkers, but we have a joke and a laugh about it, because you don't want to be rammed down the throat, do you not, Steve, about people's perspectives, because we all have our own individual beliefs.
Well, my experience, I didn't know whether it was chemically induced. You know, we've got a lot of chemicals running through our brains, and as they're shutting down and being starved from oxygen since I was drowning, I don't know whether that was down to a chemical being released from my brain or whether it was something actually spiritual, but it was something that I remembered when I came to, so it's something that I've been investigating. So yeah, kind of, it's a gut feeling plus also an actual experience that I had, so yeah.
Yeah. So, Steve, I've got a question from if you wanted to, so Captain Steve, DJ Chambers, Captain Steve, love the channel. What style of music do you like?
Oh, I'm very eclectic when it comes to music. I sent you a couple of tunes today, didn't I, Meogi?
Yeah, you did. You were very different.
Sent you one for your cats. Yeah.
Yes, one for my pussies, my Mrs. Slocum pussies. Let's have a sit down on these chairs. So
yeah, they're quite comfy, these. Yeah, they're quite nice.
Have you got this blank space over here for
for little interviews just like this? We've got a little roaring fire there.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's very lovely.
So you've got an eclectic taste, very taste.
Yeah. I like a group called Archive. They're really good. They're quite relaxing. But then I also like metal as well. So yeah. I like Metallica, The Cure, all that sort of stuff. 9 Inch Nails. Yeah. I like the older metal.
Yeah. So. Question from myself is, why did you do the Guildford meetup, other than being intoxicated with alcohol, and what motivated you to do it?
Well, you know, they're already talking about COVID round 2 that might kick off in September, so I figured, well, let's make sure we have a party before then. So I figured, yeah, let's do something anyway. There's no way I want to go through another freaking lockdown and not see people in real life again. I mean, this community has been a freaking saving grace, don't get me wrong, and all this online socialising that we can do through the actual games consoles. But then they're talking about freaking power cuts as well. It's like, what the... How do you layer this BS on us? It's freaking not good. So I figured we need to have a party, you know?
Yeah. So let's just hope that we have a question for Assistant No Man's Sky.
Cool.
This is an interesting one. The question is for Captain: how many kebabs are you going to eat on the night of the meetup? Smiley face.
I like to have just, you know, the shish kebab, the one where they sort of... just the big, long, curly, brown ones. I don't know what they call that.
Turds. Sorry.
I just have a box of kebab meat and chips as me, with just mayo. No salad, no nothing, just pure meat. Yeah, so just a box of that would do. It's usually about £4.
Cool. Next one's for 2 from Atlas Galacticus. What feature, Captain Steve, what feature are you hoping to see in No Man's Sky Update 4? Although we've gone to 4 already for some quirky reason.
Well, what I would like to see, and what I actually think might be most logical for Hello Games to do, is add in a different gameplay loop. I mean, you've got to think this is going over to Nintendo Switch, and it's going to be a solo experience. Now, most Switch players probably already know the fiasco that was No Man's Sky, and probably already know what happens when you reach the centre of the universe and the galaxy. So I think Hello Games need to switch it up a bit. Maybe put in some alternative endings, maybe a better gameplay loop, different reasons to progress through all the galaxies. I mean, 256 of them. I mean, come on, who's going to go through all of those? Who's got time for that? I know some people have, but you know, I've stayed in Euclid all this time. It hasn't done me any wrong. So yeah, I think a new gameplay loop. Other things that I would love to see them add in is customization of your multi-tools, so you can at least change the color and the aesthetic looks. I mean, we all go through, oh, I'd like to change my style, but then you've got to get a whole new multi-tool, and you can't just break down the tech in a multi-tool and swap it over to another one.
No,
so, yeah, it would just be nice if we do a new paint job on it, or even have different elements that we can click into it, make it more modular. But I'd like to see the same happen to ships. I know that might upset a lot of ship hunters, but I have done a video on how that could be implemented without breaking it for ship hunters, by using some sort of scrapping method, and you can only store a certain amount of scrapped parts, so you become a ship specialist in a certain ship type, you know?
Question from myself is, how and when did you meet Ivy, and what motivated you to meet Ivy? And obviously I know her, but I'm obviously intrigued on that question. So,
right. Well, a lot of people think I got her off the internet. I didn't. Not exactly, anyway. So I was with my previous partner for 17 years prior to meeting Ivy.
Wow.
And that came to an end in a bit of a, we had a son, we lost our son. It caused a bit of mental stability with my ex-partner. She couldn't have any more children. She said, go your own way, and she went hers, and so then I just, after 17 years, I was out of the dating game. I didn't know what to do. I went on Tinder, set up an account, and just left it. I didn't realise you had to do all the swiping nonsense to get somebody. So I thought, well, there's nobody freaking replying. I must be a right ugly sod, and pass my sell by. And then my friend was like, no, you have to swipe. So I started swiping. I got a match, and it was Ivy. I was like, oh, wow. Started talking to her. We swapped numbers. We arranged to meet. And, that's how I met her. I met her on Tinder. So, so kind of on the internet. But she was already in the UK. She was already going for her UK citizenship and all that lot. And we've been together for 7 years now, me and Ivy.
Wow. And you're very happy with one another. No plans to get married?
Because over in the Philippines you can't really get divorced. She was married prior in the Philippines, so she's going through the divorce process here in the UK. And technically it's going to be null and void because she's been separated from him for about 23 years. So we might get married at some stage, but if we do, it'll probably be in the Philippines.
All right, we can't come over and say. I'm just flicking through the questions. We had a little bit of a barney between Wilfo and Galacticus about him trying to get his question across. We have one interesting little one from Grant Wicker. Grant Wicker says, Captain Steve, when are we having a freighter party?
A freighter party? Oh, right, like coming aboard here? Well, I don't know how many ships can actually land in a freighter. I haven't really put it to the test.
I believe it's 4. I believe it's 4. You can only have 4 people in a freighter.
Yeah, that could be a thing because all my ships are loitering down there at the moment. So I don't know whether you can have actual freighter parties. That's something maybe you could check on. When you do your shenanigans on a Friday with Zoo and all that lot.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe you could end off by flying up to a freighter and giving that a test this Friday, Meogi.
Yeah, and that would make a big difference. So, next question is from myself. How do you define your nice characteristics? Because you never have a virtually bad word to say about anybody. You always empathise with everybody. What motivates you? What in your life has motivated, other than your near-death experience, to be such a nice, genuine person?
I've always been told by my parents to treat people how you wish to be treated, that kind of it. But also, it doesn't matter. I don't judge a book by its cover either. As soon as I meet somebody, I don't make any predetermined judgments. I always go by people's actions rather than what they say as well. And I'd like to look for the positives in people. Everybody's got something positive about them. There's no point in hunting out negatives in somebody because there's nothing to gain from that. I totally agree with you on that. I was brought up the same way by my grandparents. My parents were a little bit, a bit titchy, and they got on with it all, but they should have never got married. But I say to my mother now, if you hadn't got married, you wouldn't have me and my sister, and then she sees sense in it. But you either are good parents or you have bad parents. You're very lucky to have good moralistic parents. So, do we have any questions from the audience, please? Because I'm thinking of questions. So
What's your favourite food, Captain Steve? Let's go through the standard.
Favourite food? Okay, well, I'm definitely a meat eater. I don't eat any fruit. I hardly eat any vegetables unless it's like sweet corn. I eat stir fries, and Ivy makes these things called lumpia, which is like a fresh spring roll. You know, like the spring rolls we get over here,
Yeah.
have got the crispy outer shell. These have got this like soft pancake, and then yeah, it's really nice. It's not really a pancake; it's like a skin thing. I don't know, but she puts all this sauce and ground nuts on it. It's really nice. But yeah, I eat vegetables in that. It's much better than a Subway.
Yeah, well, that's good. Just to point out to, Dr. Pong says, question is, when is Steve coming to America? I believe that's a film. So, how are you going to America, Captain Steve?
I would love to go to America. We've got a few friends over in America on Ivy's side. She's got some relatives over there, and also some of her friends have moved out there. They're doing very well, in fact. They moved to a point in Texas, and what they've got in Texas is so much more than what they had in the UK for about the same sort of value in money. The houses in America are freaking amazing. Yeah. I would love to visit America. Yeah, I really would. I like a place called New England. It looks a bit like England. It looks really nice.
Yes, yeah, I remember it's got like white slatted houses on it, to be honest with you. So, yeah, that's nice. So, let's make. Kovacs Carla said, let's do a meetup in the USA. I'll host. I don't know you, Kovacs Carl, but if you're willing to host, I've been to Florida a few times, and I know Jason plays and Zoo are around that area. So yeah, it's always possible. So.
Well, Survival Bob already did one out there, didn't he?
Yeah, Survival Bob did one. We have to pick his brain. So, as a content creator, Captain Steve, what do you think your audience get from you?
Well, that's a good point. As long as I'm making people smile or laugh, then I think I'm delivering what I've set out to deliver. I mean, I would like to say that I'm going to stay with No Man's Sky forever, but you know, No Man's Sky has already run 6 years, and it's a forever growing game. But at the same time, I put out other content at the moment, just in case it ever sorts of starts to dwindle or move or shift, or maybe even the next project isn't my sort of cup of tea. So sort of doing, you know, Captain Steve Reacts videos, vlog videos, letting you into my personal life a little more and things like that. So yeah, as long as you tune into my channel and it makes you smile or laugh, then I've achieved what I've set out to do.
And are you, question for myself again, are you like this in the real life? Do you have this sunny disposition all the time? Do you have any woes in life that that detract from that positive mental attitude?
Yeah, the real world is frickin' sucks, mate. I mean, you may have got a slight sort of gist of the real world woes when I was talking about the Guildford meetup. You know, the world is a very weird place at the moment. No Man's Sky in gaming is my escape. And yes, this is kind of slightly an alter ego of mine in a roundabout way. I mean, if you watch my vlogs, that's me. That's me in my vlogs. That's how I am every day. So you'll probably find that it's a bit of a mixture of how I am online right now. But a lot of the vlogs, it's when we go out places and we're doing things that's fun, and I'm usually quite excited. I am a bit of a big kid at heart anyway. So at Christmas, I'm bouncing off the freaking walls. I love Christmas. So yeah.
I'd love to spend Christmas with Captain Steve. I have a bit of a sordid past with thingy, but yeah, you're a big believer in the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus and Nightmare Before Christmas and all that stuff.
Well, no, I wouldn't go that far.
I have a question which I think I know the answer to it, because obviously you can't really discuss certain things if you are what I think you are. But DJ Chambers has asked, what is your day job, Captain Steve?
Okay, my day job, yeah, I can't really speak about it too much, but I work as a contractor. There's a military contractor, and I'm contracted out to governments. That's pretty much all I can tell you, really.
Yeah, because I've worked just so people know, I was not interviewing Meogi, but I've worked for the Ministry of Defence, and you have to feel it's a 10-year Ministry of Defence sort of secret. So it's not Captain Steve being cryptic. he does have a genuine job, and I do know, but you can't really share it with anybody. So unless they've got Ministry of Defence clearance, so it's not deflecting the question, ladies and gentlemen. So come on, ladies and gentlemen, have we got any more questions? So, hacker, he's not a hacker. Behave yourself.
Not a hacker. No, so what I do is I look after a tool called ServiceNow. It's like a ticket login software. And it's for service desks. And it's not as grand as anything like you're probably imagining.
Yeah. Well, it's listen, as I said, some of the people with the most mundane jobs achieve the greatest things, to be honest with you. So
yeah, I haven't told anybody anything that's not on my LinkedIn page. You can find all this out on my LinkedIn page, so it's already out in the social sphere. So yeah, I'm allowed to say it. That's about all I can say, though.
Next question is from myself. Do you believe Atlantis and Time Lords exist?
Sorry?
Or have exist? Do you believe that Atlantis exists? And and it was run by some super beings.
Oh, okay. So like ancient aliens and all that sort of stuff,
Yes,
and that
that
probably
sort of thing.
got submerged in water and all that. Well, they've actually found some craters, impact sites, where they think were actually caused by nuclear explosions, because there's actually fused isotopes in the ground that only gets caused by nuclear explosions. But they've predated this to known human civilization. So yeah, I kind of do, because there's evidence that there was technological advancement on this planet when it comes to nuclear explosions and devices on this planet, and they're always finding O parts. If you don't know what an O part is, just Google O parts or zero parts that have been found. These are the objects that science has no freaking answers to why they actually exist.
Right. The next question is from Imperial Orc. What are your goals, Captain Steve, in No Man's Sky?
My goals in No Man's Sky, well, technically I've fulfilled them all. The only thing I haven't done is completed my catalogue right now. So my catalogue, I've just got to finish off the cooking products. We were doing bake-offs, me and Meogi. But yeah, I've still got a couple of pages that are still not complete on my normal save. Where are they? There we go. That one there. I haven't quite finished that one yet. And that one. But then I'll finish that one and that one now. So I think I've got the same pages completed as you now, Meogi. So I think it'd be a fair freaking battle.
Oh, we'll have to resume the battle, especially with and feed the living frigates. That should be interesting. So.
Well, yeah, I've been doing a bit of testing on that, Meogi, and I've found.
Is it random?
It is random, yes, totally random.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
I think that's what Ronan Decker, who's the baker who helped me get the catalogue and have that unfair advantage on you, Captain Steve. But you still won certain ones anyway, so.
Yeah.
Do we have any more? Oh, Captain, here we go. Grant Wicker has, by the way, Imperial Orc 07 for subscribing to Captain Steve. That's very good of you. Grant Wicker says, Captain Steve, do you like haggis, whiskey, random, but just thought I'd ask you, plus I'm Scottish.
Well, I have got Tombury whiskey right there, which Scottish Rod sent me. And I'll tell you what, this stuff is lethal. I had this, and I had some Amaretto whiskey as well. And me and my brothers both my brothers got married. We both went on stag do's, and we polished off the whiskey between us all. And I tell you what, it set our nights off terrific. So thank you very much, Scottish Rod, for that. That was freaking awesome. But yeah, I really like Scotland. I've been to Scotland once in my life. We went out on Loch Lomond. I think it's on Ivy's channel. I'm fairly sure she had a channel back then. She might not have. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, it was great. We enjoyed Scotland. Definitely have to go back. We didn't try haggis. I've never tried haggis.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
You do need to try it. So, did you know that in Scotland there's a place called Happy Haggis where in Avonmore, I don't know if it's got a chain franchise, where they deep fry haggises.
No, isn't haggis just like sheep's stomach lining, and then they stuff it with different meats? So pretty much everywhere you go, it's a different sort of experience when it comes to the haggis that you have.
And it's got oats and barley and all sorts of that sort of stuff. It actually is quite nice. So. Grant Wicker's just added to it. Do we have any more questions, guys? Can we keep it to a couple of lines, because I'm having problems in the question for Atlas Galacticus again, the man, the myth, the legend, says to Captain Steve, if No Man's Sky started to end development in the future, then what other game will you be planning to play? Well, I know what I'll be playing.
Whew, okay, I really don't know, because I used to play a lot of Destiny. I used to love Destiny 2. But now they've made it free to play, and there's like lots of little microtransactions, and they've turned the enemies into bullet sponges. I don't enjoy that anymore. And I also find that a lot of new games, a lot of games that are coming out, they follow the same tired recipe, and they're like rehashes of stuff that I've already played. So it's very difficult for me to find a game that goes, right, this is great, this is fantastic. I'm really looking forward to Dragon's Dogma 2. I loved the first Dragon's Dogma, so I'll probably pick that up. I enjoyed Elden Ring, but again, although that people said it was groundbreaking game of the year, to me it was just another, From Software title, and it felt very samey to the previous ones. So, yeah, it takes a lot to... I think we've been spoilt so much by No Man's Sky that it's kind of destroyed all other games for me.
Yeah. So, Steve, a question from me is... what do you think of Starfield? Do you think it's the next No Man's Sky or not?
No, I don't. I don't think it will be. I mean, there's reasons for that, but at the same time, it's the transition from planet to space and then back down to planet again. It doesn't feel as immersive as No Man's Sky, and I know that the way forward is going to be VR and things like that in the future. Yeah. So I don't think that's going to transition too well. Have a cutscene in between and stuff. I don't think they've really thought that one out. Although this seems small, the scope for mods for, say, making it VR then gets slightly reduced, or harder, I should say. But yes, I do like the look of Starfield because it's got some large fauna on it, and it does look like it's going to be a challenge. And when you land on planets, it's going to be a little bit... Okay, I need to be a bit careful or else I'm going to get frickin' eaten. And I kind of like that. I wish there was more of that in No Man's Sky. They did add in really aggressive predators at one stage and then they took them back out. But they were still small little piddly creatures. There's no megafauna in No Man's Sky, apart from those giant worms that don't actually do any damage. But I think we need more megafauna. We need that sort of level of, oh my god, I've got to be careful.
Look at that. Yeah. I've got a giant turd on me. Actually, Joe J4164 asked the question, and I scanned it over just before I answered it. So, and the question was for both of us. So I'll answer the question. I feel that Starfield is going to be Skyrim, No Man's Sky and Star Citizen all rolled into one, with a 400-hour game quest on it, with 1,000 star systems. I think it won't last the draw of No Man's Sky, and I think No Man's Sky isn't going to go out of development. But I think No Man's Sky 2 will take over from No Man's Sky eventually. But I think, like, I played a game called Star Wars Galaxies. Back in 1997 to 2000, and it's still being played on servers now, and it was very much like No Man's Sky, but limited on the planet and limited on the technology. So it will always be a game that people will say, oh, I've always played that No Man's Sky, let's play it again. I don't know what you think, Steve. Do you think No Man's Sky is going to be one of those go back to games all the time?
I think No Man's Sky is going to continue to grow. I mean, they've got it on pretty much every platform next, and the way that they're optimizing it, it could probably even come to some of the latest mobile devices with some of the chipsets that we're running now, like your latest phone, my latest phone, and any of the top gen phones right now might even be able to play No Man's Sky after all this optimization. So who knows? They might do that. They might bring it to mobile devices next. But yeah, I'm hoping that they do more with No Man's Sky. I really am. It's like you just mentioned No Man's Sky 2. I mean, they said that they would never make a sequel. They're just going to carry on updating this that we're in right now. We all know that they're working on another ambitious title, which could be No Man's Sky-like. They said that it's going to be more ambitious than No Man's Sky, but how do you get more ambitious than a freaking procedurally generated universe? So I kind of think that it's going to be along the same veins as No Man's Sky. I hope, anyway. But when it comes to Starfield, I think Starfield is going to be more like that other game, Mass Effect, where you go around and it's more like a talking simulator, where you just walk and talk to people, and then with a little bit of action in between. That's kind of how I'm envisaging it to be, more of a story escapade, which was all good, but I like to carve my own sort of game out with inside of a universe. I like this sandbox approach, where I think Starfield is going to be a little bit more linear, and you're going to be pushed to follow a certain story and a certain narrative.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be as open or as explorative as it might sound. But if it is, I'll be all for that. I'll definitely be doing some of that. I know that Fallout 76, you can carve your own story into it a bit and find loads of side quests. So it depends. It depends what they do. I'm watching it with eagle eyes and anticipation, but I'm not setting my sights. I'm not setting my hype factor too high on this one. Not with the likes of what happened with Cyberpunk and the latest Witcher games and There's too much hype over a game. I was going to say my next question would be to you: what in 6 days' time the Guildford event takes place? What do you personally want to get out of the Guildford event? I want to meet everybody in the verse again. It was really nice meeting up with everybody the last time I went, the one that L-Plays arranged. Sadly, L-Plays can't make it this year, but it was awesome to meet people like Boyd and Blind Vision and Red Orb and start putting, faces to names. It's like Nella Doodle. She was my moderator back then, and I'd never actually met her. And then bumped into her, met her. It was freaking awesome to meet her, It was just... Yeah, it was just great. It was a real good time to make some really cool special memories with the people inside of the verse. It was great.
Yeah, well, that's the main thing. We've got Sword in the channel. Do we have any direct questions I can ask Captain Steve? Now, I'm going to play this, Captain Steve, when I run out of questions while I wait for the audience to catch up on. Let's play Desert Island Discs, but let's do it with favourite albums, favourite DVDs, films, favourite we've done food, favourite drink, favourite whatever you would take onto a desert island if you got shipwrecked and you had all your goodies with you, but you had a pile of goodies. Which ones would you grab first and play if you had the facilities to do, if you were thrown to a desert island?
Okie dokie. So what am I going for first? Music, films?
Yeah, let's go for music first.
Music. My favourite song of all time is Golden and Brown by the Stranglers. I didn't know I didn't know what that song was made about when I liked it. I liked it from the age of 6. My dad used to play it, and it was just very mellow, and it transcends time, that song. It just mellows me out. I like that one.
Yeah.
Other favourite tunes, I like Burn by The Cure. That one's really cool. What else do I like? One more. I quite like Die Atwood, funny enough. I Think You're Freaky. That's quite a cool song. It's a bit freaking weird though, the music video.
So let's go on to films. What are your go-to films if you were stuck on a desert island? So let's go through 3 of those.
Favourite films? I like... there's so many good ones, isn't there? I love all the Star Wars. Can I say all the Star Wars?
You can say all the Star Wars. I'll allow you that one.
All the Star Wars, then, because you can't really just take one, can you? You got to have
you can't.
No, there you go. So 4 Star Wars. I don't like what Disney. I don't like what Disney done to the last ones, but we won't go there because it would probably.
No,
yeah.
No. They still have merit. They still have merit.
Oh, so. I love Mandalorian, and I can't wait for this new one that's coming out soon as well. That should be good. And I liked Obi-Wan, despite what people said and the critics.
Yeah, I think it was brilliant, Obi-Wan. I think it ended that little segment of him being cast into the desert. I think anybody who grumbles, then try and do it yourself. That's what I say, to be honest with you. So anyway, next film.
One of my other favourites is Leon. I used to really like Leon, with Natalie Portman in it and that. But I watched the extended version, and it freaking made me cringe. Don't watch the extended version, people out there in the viewerverse. Yeah, stick to the cut version. You thank me. Okay. What else is there? I really liked The Crow with Brandon Lee. That was a good one.
He died in that one. He got shot with a real bullet didn't he?
Yeah. Right, shame that. He was quite good. Really liked Brandon Lee. Yeah.
So let's go on to favourite drinks.
I like Guinness and blackcurrant. Drink it halfway down, then put in a double vodka, lemonade, and lime. It tastes like those refresher sweets. It's nice.
Yeah, remember this for the Guildford meetup because we'll be getting them. So Guinness with blackcurrant in it. So
Yeah, you get a
okay.
pint glass, you fill it halfway with Guinness and black, then you get a double vodka, lemonade and lime and pour it into it. The bar people won't do it normally because it's classed as a snake bite. But yeah, really, really tasty. Tastes like refreshers.
Right, and your last drink?
My last, just cups of tea. I'm a tea drinker. I love my cups of tea.
You are a tea drinker. When I stopped with you that night, you were drinking tea. Like I'm not. I'm a coffee man, to be honest with you. So
Okay.
So, right. If there was one place in the world you could go to, where would it be?
One place in the world that I could go to. It would probably be there's the Philippines because Ivy's from there, but that's a bit of a boring answer. The answer I would like to give is I'd like to go to Peru. I've always wanted to try because of that that near-death experience I had. I've always wanted to try the tea that they've got out there. It's called ayahuasca. And it's actually made from a chemical that's found in everything in life called DMT, dimethyltryptamine. And apparently, a lot of people that have had this tea say that it's very much like a near-death experience. So I want to see if it has the same effect as when I drowned, so I can work out whether it was chemical or spiritual. The only trouble is the people that drink it over in Peru say that it's spiritual. So even though it's chemical, they say that it's spiritual. So yeah,
we actually have a question rather than me thinking. So look what you mean, Steve. Question. This is from Mackie Tail. For you, how does it feel to have the most awesome accent in the world?
It's English. It's the Queen's English. Yeah. Well,
the Queen's English.
Meogi's not far off, and he's up north.
Well, up north, whippets, black puddings. See, that's my Boltonian accent, but I don't use it. Don't use it.
There are some of us English people that have kept the Queen's sort of English inside of our dialogues or repertoire, but then a lot of people, I think, the younger generation, they're picking up a lot of lingo from freaking Americas and stuff. So sometimes when I talk to the next generation, they're like, "You what's up there, fam?" and all this lot. I'm like, what language is this? Yeah, so it's that.
Yeah. Another question, Steve. I think it's a question. It's from Wilford Soto Jr. Movie question. Do you like Avatar? And if so, are you looking forward to the second Avatar film at the end of the year?
I really loved the idea of Avatar. So there's actually a website called the 2040 Initiative. It's actually a Russian website, but it's still up. You can still go click. Yeah, 2040, or is it 2030? It's one or the other, 2030 or 2040. And it's about a Russian billionaire that's trying to make actual avatar bodies that we can transfer our consciousness to, just like in the movie Avatar, apart from they're not big and blue. So they try to make an avatar that's of yourself, but he's going to start off with robotic shells that you can transfer your consciousness to. In fact, Elon Musk is trying it with Neuralink. He's actually put a concept design out for his own sort of avatar now. So apparently that's all going to happen in real life. But yes, I am looking forward to the actual second movie, mainly because of the concept idea. But I also like the alien world that they're on. I really like that world. It's very cool.
Yeah. So, Steve, the question for myself is, if there was one thing that you could change in your life, what would it be?
My sock drawer. My sock drawer is too small for my socks.
Do you have sweaty feet?
People always buy me socks for Christmas and birthdays and things like that, and I just didn't allot a big enough drawer. I didn't see the future of this, people. As you get older, people, when they don't know what to buy you, just buy you socks upon socks. I've got Dragon Ball Z socks, I've got friggin' Rick and Morty socks, I've got Sensible socks, Pringle socks, I've got all sorts of bloody socks. And I didn't think ahead and get myself a big enough sock drawer. So now they don't all fit in there. So now they're slowly encroaching into my boxer short drawer, which is getting stuffed. Dear. So yeah, that's something that definitely needs to change. But I'm not one of these people that dwells on the past. I mean, I've had some horrendous things happen in my past, but you can't change your past. And there's no point in looking too far into the future, or else it causes anxiety. Looking back in the past causes depression. Looking forwards into the future causes anxiety. So just chill the fudge out. live now. Yeah, worry about your sock drawer. That's happening. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you think the future holds in life and for people, the human race? Do you see a future? Do you not see a future? What do you believe in the future of the human race?
Okay, have you seen what they're doing over in Saudi Arabia, building the new city called the Line?
No, I haven't.
Okay, you might want to jump on YouTube and type in new city, the Line. And I think that's pretty much what's going to happen world over soon enough, to be fair. And you know, like the Chinese social credit system, I can see that sort of stuff all coming in. Mainly because, you know, like Rishi Sunak, his actual family look after a company called Infosys that actually helped put that in place. So if he becomes our next Prime Minister, that's probably going to happen over here. So I think all that sort of stuff's going to happen. Now, I'm all for technology if it's coming to, you know, making sure that all the resources are equally distributed and everything's great. I think that future is a great future if the people that aren't running it aren't greedy frickin' toffs that have already plunged our world into frickin' turmoil. And sadly, they're the people that are running it right now. So it's not going to be a city for the people, by the people. It's going to be a city by the elites to siphon stuff from the people, you know what I'm saying? And I think all this stuff that they're doing right now is to just divide and conquer. They've got us fighting and squabbling amongst each other rather than actually fighting and squabbling with them.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Steve. For a question that I think we've answered before, but Pierre wants to clarify it. Pierre Hull, or aka Searcher in the Helpers Party, would like to ask, will you be interviewing other content creators? ...
Yeah, so I have got a Discord, and I'm getting better with my Discord. You can find Discord links inside of my video description, and I check my Discord as soon as I fire my laptop up, and I usually turn my laptop on first thing in the morning. I've got to have my laptop on to actually capture stuff through my PlayStation now, because the way it's all set up. You can't have your PlayStation on without your freaking laptop on. So I check Discord at least once a day, and I check my DMs. So if you want to be on here, we can connect via Discord. I'd rather do it through PlayStation Chat because it's all set up. But either way, I can pretty much interview any of you. I would prefer to interview people that are known inside the community that people would like to know about, not just some random watcher. But it would be nice to interview a random watcher at some point. But yeah, I would like it if content creators would hit me up or something, like Dr. Pong or Sazable. I know Sazable's trying to get a channel off the ground. So yeah, you're quite welcome to. Anybody that's interested in doing content creation that might have some YouTube-y type stuff that we can sort of talk about, and how hard it is to get started. It could be a two-way thing. You could ask me questions, I can ask you questions, that sort of stuff. It doesn't have to all be No Man's Sky either, but it does help if you're based in No Man's Sky, so we can ask some No Man's Sky questions like speculation, what do you want from No Man's Sky, etc, etc. Yeah.
I was going to add on to that just quickly. Some speculation's been going around what me and Captain Steve have been up to with the Content Creators Club. We've actually set a Discord channel up. I came up with the idea after a few little incidents. We won't go into it. The past is the past, the future is the future. But we are getting together everyone that wants to become a content creator, moderates the content creators, and anyone that wants to help be helped. A bit like the Helpers Party that I run with 400 members, but trying to basically get some stimulation, because Captain Steve, you had a tough time of it when you started, didn't you, getting your channel off the ground?
Yeah, so what I found is there was a few people inside of the actual community that would give shout-outs and things. Cobra used to give me shout-outs, Sword used to give me shout-outs, and it was nice. It was a nice welcoming community, but it was quite hard to get a foothold for a new creator to get their content seen. I mean, people have their go-to content creators now anyway, you know, it's like Survival Bob, Jason Plays, Zane. It's like I go to Zane if I want anything factual from the actual game files, because he waits until he gets data tables and he goes through them with a fine-tooth comb, and the way that he lays out the actual information is freaking awesome and Zanified, and I love Zane's approach, so I would watch Zane for that. If I want something light-hearted, easy to listen to and funny, I jump over to Jason Plays and listen to Jason Plays. If I want something that's a little bit more tasty, a little bit more adult, I jump over to, you know, Survival Bob and have a bit of a laugh there, you know, a little bit of adult humour, innuendos, stuff like that. And I think I kind of sit somewhere in the middle of all of that. I think I've got a little bit of all of that mixed in as well as speculation, but I'm not. I wouldn't. I'm like a jack of all trades. I wouldn't say I'm a specialist in any of those, but they're specialists. So if you like that aspect, you're going to love that. It's like if you like coming here for a laugh, you're going to love Jason Plays. If you like coming here for some of the innuendos and some of the adult stuff I throw out, try Survival Bob. If you like some of the stats that I do every now and again, or some of the factual stuff, try Zane. You know. But if you like speculation, yeah, stick around here. But Beeble's been doing some really good logical speculation videos as of late. Check him out. I love Mac for the Day for his speculation. When Mac for the Day does speculation, it's usually freaking well out of the ballpark, but it's freaking fun to listen to anyway. And I love all of that, and I love the community. There's something for someone everywhere. It's like base building. There's so many good base builders, to the point where on my community page now, or channel page, when you click it, I've got a special area just for my favourite base builders for inspiration. Love Scottish Rod stuff, love Beeble stuff, Nirvana's stuff. There's Pez in there, there's ER Burrows, there's Boyd. Sorry if I've not shouted out any Action Pants Gaming. There's just so many. Check out my channel's page, people. On my channel's page, there's content creators that I like to watch. Meogi's in there. There's loads of content creators in there. You can just hit the subscribe button and you're going to have an itinerary of No Man's Sky content for every hour of the day.
A question, Captain Steve, from Grant Wicker. Captain Steve, have you always been on the PlayStation, or have you ever had an Xbox? And side question, what do you think of the companies doing console exclusives these days?
Right, okay, so I started off life on an Atari 2600 and then moved to an Amiga 1200. I had Spectrums and things like that, but then after I had Super Nintendo, the N64, I had a few games consoles. But yeah, then I moved over to Sony, and I haven't looked back. So I had the Sony PlayStation 1 all the way through to PlayStation 5. I've never owned an Xbox. I always said to myself, well, what's the point in having an Xbox when you can get yourself a top-of-the-range gaming PC and play everything that the Xbox has to offer? And I've kind of stuck with that, really, and it hasn't really steered me wrong. The only thing is, like you say now, you're going to get all these console exclusives, and Xbox has been doing the rounds, and Microsoft's been doing the rounds and buying some pretty good companies like Bethesda, and section off part of the market. I mean, the Sony exclusives have always been freaking awesome because they've got their own studio. I kind of wished, Microsoft would have done something more along that. I know they have, with like Forza and all that, and they've got their titles. But at the same time, yeah, I don't really like the whole buying of sub parties and gaming sort of studios to sort of circumvent players. I like the whole cross-play aspect. In fact, I'm very choosy when it comes to which game I do want to bring to my channel, because I want it to have as much audience as possible. So it does help if it's cross-play. So these big companies that are buying all these smaller studios and making it an exclusive are going to shoot themselves in their foot when it comes to who's going to cover their game with footage. So, yeah.
No, I'm mindful of the time and we're coming to the hour, but I wanted to ask you a very personal question. Not what you do with your stock draw. The question is, from Meogi, is when you dust off this mortal coil, as we all have to do, as my old gran always said, there's nothing more certain than death and taxes. What would you like to be remembered by the human race for?
Holy fudge. I haven't actually thought of that one. I haven't really got a legacy. I mean, Ivy's got a son, which is my stepson. He's mid-20s. So whatever I leave behind, I hope it's an influence on him. And I hope I've come across as a decent role model for him. I'm hoping maybe, if me and Ivy are out in the Philippines, maybe we could adopt a child while we're out there and make a big difference to a child's life. That's if Ivy wants to. At the moment, she doesn't really want to. She's like, well, I'm past all of that. I had my son, and it might not ever be a thing. And, if we did, I'd want one that's house-trained. So, yeah.
House-trained?
Yeah. One that's...
no one that climbs up curtains and shits up the curtains. And
exactly.
Pulls them down and wheezes on them.
One that's about 4 or 5. So they know that we're not their parent in a roundabout way. Some of these kids for Christmas, all they want is to have a mum or a dad. I would like to fulfill that wish, maybe, and be a yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. But whether that actually happens, I don't know. It's one of the dreams that I got in the back of my head. But no, I really don't know the answer to that question, Meogi. But that's not really leaving on a high note. Have you got a fun question?
Yes, yeah. The fun question is this: do you believe in aliens?
Heck yes, I do. I think we're the aliens. I honestly think we were seeded on this planet, Meogi. I don't believe in the whole evolution theory, and I don't believe in a God made us out of clay. I kind of feel that if we were made from clay, it was probably by aliens that came and visited this planet. I mean, if you change the word God in the Bible to aliens, job done. Believe in it, 100%. Yeah, then everything makes sense. The whole splitting the oceans, the freaking splitting fish and turning water into a wine. Alien technology, that's what that was. And they just didn't know the word for energy back then, so they called it freaking angels. In fact, that's probably what it was. Angels that came from the heavens, that came from the skies, that made us. There was probably a plethora of them. The first religion ever recorded was by the Sumerians. They actually recorded it into clay tablets. And they said it was the Anunnaki that came and placed us on this earth. And you know the Beatles, they've done that song, I am the Eggman, I am the walrus. Well, maybe they took walrus DNA and made eggs from their own sort of alien DNA, and we're a walrus cross alien hybrid. That's why we've got fat layers and other primates don't.
Oh, that's interesting. Very interesting. So, finally, do you have a joke for us, or do you like any particular joke that's been told to you, or do you like an artist that thing? That's a good question to end on. So.
One that I heard on the radio the other day that was quite funny.
Yeah.
Go ahead. A man, he went into a spaghetti shop and he tried to nick all the spaghetti. So he was chucking it all in his jacket and his pockets and everything. But on his way out, this female police officer caught him. Hold on. He couldn't get past her. Couldn't get past her. Yeah, that's it.
Anyway, it's 1 hour since we started the stream up. You like to keep it within an hour. It's been an utter pleasure and spending time with you, Captain Steve, and allowing me to interview you. And I hope the audience got something interesting out of it. Please hit that like and that subscribe. I think we've kept it constant. I think we've answered all the questions. Just before we go, are there any final questions for Captain Steve that anybody wants to know? I'll give it a couple of minutes, then we'll end off. And so, Captain Steve, is there anything you'd like to ask me while we wait for any questions to come through?
Not well. What are you hoping that the meetup's going to be like?
I hope, to be honest with you, to raise some money for charity by selling this laptop. But I also am looking for the DEFA's animal shelters. But I'm looking to basically put a real face to the real people, that I know that we talk to on a regular basis. But that's because I'm a people person. I'm a hugger. Nelly Doodle will be warned. You're gonna get hugged. Any lady that comes, they're gonna get hugged. I'm not a molester. I'm just a hugger. I'm a hugger and a kisser. So I'm a fun-loving guy. But no, I just want people to get to know the real Meogi. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a massive eater. I just basically want people to get to know the real Meogi.
Cool, yeah. Okay,
and if we can get some ideas from Hello Games and let us in, then we'll probe them. We'll probe them with our mind probes.
Well, I have said that people from Hello Games are more than welcome to attend. In fact, we're most welcome it because we'll probably have, T-shirts or merch or something that you could take a freaking Sharpie to. I'm bringing a packet of Sharpies anyway for people to write on a banner that I'm bringing along. Yeah. So yeah, if anybody from Hello Games is watching, you're more than welcome to be at the meetup. In fact, it'd be freaking awesome if you do. That'd probably make the event, to be honest. Yeah. So yeah, that'd be cool.
Got one final question, it looks like, from Commander Keen. Question is, how many cups of sugar does it take to the moon? Does it take to the moon? Does it take to the moon? I didn't know sugar takes to the moon. Well, it's an interesting one. So,
I have
Go
one
on,
spoon of sugar in my tea, but it's a heaped teaspoon. Or sometimes I put in honey. Depends if we've got some nice honey in. I do like Manuka honey or local honey from the local farms around here. So yeah, if we've got some of that, that goes in.
You keep your mucka honey to itself. I have local honey made in Scotland. You can do marvels with it. But Captain Steve, it's been an utter joy and pleasure. I hope the audience have got something out of it. I hope this video stands the test of time to show you what the people know between the man, the myth, the legend, like you call me, of you, Captain Steve. And I hope that the audience have got something out of it, and the future audience will get something out of it.
Cool. There's a couple of other questions there. Is cereal a soup? No, cereal is definitely cereal. It's definitely not a soup. And there's another one there. Captain Steve, have you ever tried No Man's Sky in VR? Yes. You can have a look on my channel. If you just type in Captain Steve VR, you'll see me playing in VR. Because I used to have it on my PS4 VR system, and I will be getting it on PlayStation 2 VR. And that whole cereal and soup thing, something you can try, people out there in the viewerverse, is get yourself some custard. Heat the custard up, however you do, in a saucepan or microwave, whatever, but then pour it on top of cornflakes. Cornflake custard is freaking amazing. It's life-changing. Try it. It's lovely.
Or as Matt Smith says, try fish fingers and custard. That's very good for regeneration.
Oh, that's a Doctor Who thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Doctor Who thing, yes, it's Doctor Who thing. So custard, it's the future. So it's like garlic bread, as 2 Meter Gay said. It's the future. So it's the past, really. But who cares whether it's the future or not? Anyway, whatever we do, just be kind, to be gentle to everyone, and never a harsh word spoken. And we'll hopefully be doing an interview. But Captain Steve, you forward your forwardings for content creators that want to be interviewed by me and by Captain Steve, as from next Monday, hopefully. Is that okay with you, Captain Steve?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Will you have a hangover still on next Monday?
I have no idea. We'll see how it goes. I could be having alcohol poisoning and stomach pumps.
I'll keep the show going. I'll do some laughter and do it. So anyway, if you're happy with it, we'll end off the stream, Captain Steve.
Yeah, cool. Stazaball says there's a hot dog, a sandwich. There's a song called "We Can Make Sandwiches." Have a listen to that. That's a sandwich. Have a listen to that. We can make sandwiches out here on the dance floor, because that's the way we do it, babe. Yeah. Have a listen. It's a good song. Anyway, we better go. Yeah, cheery bye. Bye all.
Cheery bye, everyone. Thanks
bye
for spending your time with us. Bye bye. Bye bye.